All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Friday. Happy Friday to everyone out there. September 5th, and we have a full MLB slate to dive into in today's video. Like we always do, I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video for my final plays, so I'm actually rolling with myself. If that does interest, if you do want to fade me, all of that will be absolutely free down in the pinned comment. In terms of how we did yesterday, yeah, a 3-0 night. The Yankees, the Royals, and then Bo Naylor come through for us. Fire off the money gun, baby. Let's go. Now, I will admit, yes, we're firing off the money gun. Rules are rules. I'm not as excited as I should be because we were in the red for Thursday Night Football. So that is unfortunate there. But hey, a 3-0 MLB sweep. We still have to show our love there. Only 3 plays, but it was only a 6-game slate, so we shall take it. Get a W in the comments, guys, if you did ride with any of these yesterday. But like I said, unfortunately, Thursday Night Football kind of has me a little salty. Speaking of football, we have our Chargers and Chiefs video live here on the channel. We have one final play locked in right now, and I'll be in the lab today trying to add a couple more in. So make sure to go ahead and check out that video. That is now live here on the channel. But all right, what do you say we go ahead and dive into today's MLB slate? Guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. First game we're looking at here is going to be the Cubs taking on the Nats. Now, Cubs are massive favorites in this one, and I guess it makes sense. You have a good team against a poor team, and it looks like the weather actually is going to be pretty favorable there in Wrigley, which I feel like hasn't happened in a while, but we finally have a positive number in terms of the run index, and yeah, it's because there's 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing out to right field. Javier Assad, as we like to call him, Carne Asada, is on the mound for the Cubs. He's actually looked pretty good in his 3 starts here on the season, especially at home. Now, take into account that weather is very important too. He's been pitching with wind blowing in, but nonetheless, he's going to keep the ball on the ground. At home this year, 4.5 ground ball to fly ball rate, but overall a 1.9 in terms of ground ball to fly ball rate ratio. So I do think that he is going to be able to go out there and pitch fairly well, but I'll be honest, I don't trust really either one of these bullpens, and throw in the fact that even if we show you on our dashboard here, which I'll explain how to get access to the dashboard in a little bit, he's going to throw a ton of sinkers. That's actually the best pitch that Washington is hitting right now. So I do think the Cubs probably win this game, but that's a crazy price tag. I'm going to lean towards their team total over as well as the over 10.5. Now, one thing I will say to walk it back a little bit is I think it's going to be like 60 degrees. It's going to be cold there in Chicago. So yes, we have, strong 20-mile-an-hour winds blowing out, but it is going to be cold. So take that, with a grain of salt when we look at all these overs and whatnot. I don't know if this is going to be a spot that we absolutely force into the equation with, again, a full MLB slate to get to today. All right, next game up, we got the Tigers taking on the White Sox here. Shane Smith on the bump for the White Sox, going up against Jack Flaherty there for the Tigers. Now, Shane Smith has actually been pretty good over his last 5 starts. I mean, his worst being 6 innings, 4 earned against Atlanta, but he's still, even with that included in his last 5, he has a 1.6 ERA over that stretch. He's allowing 3.4 hits, including 7 hits in that game, in the mix there. So he's obviously been very good. His last couple starts, he's looked really good against Kansas City, hits righties well, and the Yankees. He actually went 6 1/3, 2 earned, ultimately losing that game, but he struck out 7 in that as well. Now you flash over to Jack Flaherty. He's definitely had some ups and downs here. Last 3 starts, 7 innings pitched, 0 earned against Houston. That sounds like a really good start, but that was right in the middle of August when Houston was struggling. Then he goes in, back home at Detroit against Kansas City, 5 innings pitched, 10 hits, 8 earned. But then he goes up against Kansas City in Kansas City, his next start, and usually when batters see a pitcher, it's a hard spot for the pitcher, right? Well, he goes 5 2/3, 1 earned. So he's been kind of all over the place. I think that he's in a decent spot to pitch, at the worst, okay here against Chicago. I think that Chicago, for the money, is probably the money line side to take a peek at, just because they are playing surprisingly good baseball here. They've won 5 straight games now. Granted, 4 of those games were against the Twins, who are arguably worse at this point. But still, I think that, for the plus money you're getting, I think that right now it's like, yeah, let's see what those updated odds are. For Chicago on the money lines, plus 175. That just makes sense to me. I don't think that we get there ourselves. If Shane Smith goes out there and pitches well, it's going to lead us to a first 5 under 5. I think that we like that a lot more, because I think Jack Flaherty, again, should be all right using our dashboard, and you're going to see this a bunch because I mean, why not? It's an amazing tool that you can find over on GuyBostonSports.com and in the members area, MLB dashboard. But what I love here is the fastball. Okay, well, Detroit, that's their second worst pitch right now. Gonna get a ton of that out of Shane Smith. Oh, would you take a peek at this? Fastball from Jack Flaherty, right? Well, great. The Chicago White Sox haven't been hitting the fastball that well either. So I think that both these pitchers and their main pitch mixes could be in good situations here. That first 5 under 5, I like a little bit more than the White Sox. The White Sox is more of a default lean because I don't want to pay minus 200 with this Tigers team right now. And with Jack Flaherty's sporadicness. Like, this Tigers team is not really quietly, but quietly in a sense has lost 7 of their last 10 games. All right, next up we have the Reds taking on the Mets. On the mound for the Reds is going to be Andrew Abbott. Obviously, he's a very, very good pitcher. He does have one yikes start in his last few starts against Arizona. He went 4 innings, 6 earned. He bounced back in a decent way against St. Louis. Now, he does, Andrew Abbott, I guess, as good as he's been this year, he has had some spotty starts. That one that we just talked about being the most, like, yikes. But even a few starts back against the Cubs, 6 2/3, 4 earned. I mean, he pitched deep into the game, but still 4 earned isn't all that great. But nonetheless, he did bounce back, like I mentioned, against St. Louis. 2 earned through 5, 7 strikeouts. Going up against David Peterson, who also is having a really, really good year. And then, boom, gets smacked up by Miami. 2 innings pitched, 8 hits, 8 earned runs, 1 strikeout, 3 walks. Both of these guys are sure to bounce back, I would think. But that being said, you do have a Cincinnati offense that is scoring some runs. Last 5 games for them, 9, 9, 5, 7, and then 2. Okay, but still, for the most part, 4 of those 5 games, they've been looking good. And the Mets, as kind of sporadic as they've been, they were on a scorched earth pattern, and now they've gone 2, 12, 10, 1, 8, 19, 4, 6, 6, 13. Still a lot of runs being scored there. I think that the Mets can pull this one out because I trust that offense a little bit more here against Andrew Abbott. Just in the sense that I think that they can hit lefties a little bit better than this Reds team, I guess. So I'm going to lean towards the Mets, but I also don't mind the over 8.5. Right now you're seeing a lot of 9s out there. There definitely is some 8.5s on the board, especially on where do we see that? 8.5 over on the exchanges, right? ProfitX, Novig get pretty much the same odds right now for 8.5 than most books have 9 at. So obviously that's a little bit of a plus. Throw in the fact that I like Alvarez here. That kind of, leads to an over too. I like him to get a hit. The dude's been absolutely crushing it. Check this out. His last 10 games here, he's absolutely been going off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 10, 11, 14 hits in his last 10 games. In his last 3 games here, he has 6 hits. And what I really do like is, you can see via our dashboard, he's got a great pitch mix rating today. 8.6 pitch mix rating. He's batting 400 last 30 days against lefties. And what did you know? Andrew Abbott kind of struggles against righties a little bit. So maybe there's a play for Alvarez over 0.5 hits. Now, you're paying a little bit of juice. What do we see that at right here? Yeah, minus 165 on DK. But everywhere else, I mean, MGM, you could snag it at that price. Everywhere else, the thing is super juice. So maybe that is worth considering as well. Alvarez and just getting 1 hit. All right, Pirates taking on the Brewers. This Pirates team, and I know we got some Pirates. I didn't even know Pirates fans existed. I'm kidding, but we do have some Pirates fans in the comments every single day, and man, oh man, you guys are living it up right now, and I give you credit for that. Sweeping the Dodgers. That being said, that sounds a lot better than it is because the Dodgers are just not the Dodgers right now, but still, I really am not taking away from that. I think that that's a good feat. The Brewers, now coming off of losing a series against Philadelphia, this one's a little bit tighter than we might assume, right? Johan Oviedo's on the mound. I don't necessarily like him, but I really can own that he hasn't been too bad since, coming into this season, right? Even his last start against Boston, 5 innings pitched, 2 earned, 6 strikeouts, 3 walks could be a concern with 1 home run, but still not all that terrible. He's going up against Quinn Priester, though, and Quinn Priester really has been pretty damn good. And even using his pitch mix, you can see here, sinker and slider. Doesn't throw the fastball, so the colors are going to look a little bit different. But the sinker and slider should be 2 really good pitches. The only thing I'd worry about is Triolo, Horwitz, and Reynolds. They hit the sinker pretty well. But outside of that, we should be pretty good if you are on the Brewers today. Flip it over to Oviedo. Fastball, slider should be 2 good pitches for the Brewers to hit. So yeah, I am all over the Brewers here today. Actually, I've already locked in the Brewers money line, as well as I guess we'll go to Chirio, his overs. I like his over hit run in RBI today. His pitch mix rating is fantastic here. Obviously, he missed some time, but now coming back, he's been okay. I guess since coming back, let's see what that is. I know we have that up, but yeah, since coming back, he's hit this in 3 of his 5 games, I believe it is. Something like that. So to me, decent spot for him. His history against Oviedo is, I don't think we even have that, but what I will say is he's been hitting righties well since coming back, and then Oviedo on the season, his batting average against is 189. That's pretty damn good, right? Against righties, it jumps to 276. So he definitely struggles against righties, and we'll see Chario on the right side, obviously. So to me, yeah, Brewers team total over could be a consideration as well. I apologize to the Pirates fans in the comments. I think that you guys have a real fun team right now. But this Brewers squad, after coming off a loss to Phillies, it would not shock me if this is a flat spot for the Pirates, okay? So apologies, yes, I feel like I'm always fading the Pirates, but I'm doing it yet again today. It is nothing personal, though. In fact, that kind of reminds me, guys, if you're watching right now, comment what team you are a fan of in terms of, like, your fandom, right? Not what team you like to watch or something like that. Like, what is the team that you're a fan of, even if it is, you know, a team that you have to watch? You're like, I'm a Nationals fan, but boy, oh boy, they're frustrating, blah, blah, blah. Like, what team are you a fan of? I don't think I've ever asked you guys that during the baseball season before, and now it's late baseball season. I'm very curious to know, like, the audience out there and in this community that we're building, like, what teams are we rooting for? You know what I mean? So let me know down in the comments. All right, guys, before we do move on with the rest of the games, I want to talk to you about Sleeper. If you have not checked them out yet, what am I telling you guys all the time? If you've not checked them out yet and they're available in your state, you need to do so. Scan that QR code or head over to Sleeper, download with the code GuyBoston, or use the link in the description. I'll also put it in the pinned comment, making it super easy for you guys to find different ways to sign up here. Right now, you're going to get a mystery free square. It's going to be a 0.5 stat, something like a pitcher out square or a batter at bat square, something like that, okay? Or a receiving yard square if they do it with the NFL. So go ahead and check it out. That's not all. That's not all. They are dropping discounts like you read about, literally. Like, there are so many discounts on the app. I do this every time we talk about Sleeper because I do think it's one of the coolest things that they do. Like, I can almost guarantee, now they haven't made a fool of me yet, I'm just loading Sleeper up yet, loading Sleeper up now, and you'll see. Boom, they do have discounts. All of these are discounted lines. You can see for yourself. All of them are knocked down lines or boosted plays in different sports. Esports, obviously NFL. Sabrina Ionescu, they have her points line doubled in terms of the multiplier. They have a Joe Burrow 0.5 passing yard square right now. Discounts galore, discounts and promos galore, guys. Sleeper, what I love about them too is each and every play that you throw into your entry changes the payout dynamically. So gone are the days in which we have 2 for 2 is 3x or 3 for 3 is 5x or anything like that. No, each and every play based on its multiplier will change the payout. Really, 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 really cool. I believe you can win up to 1,000x or 100x or something crazy on Sleeper 2 of your entry. So go check it out, guys. Again, that link will be down below, or just scan the QR code if you're watching on a TV or a laptop or something like that. Sign up for Sleeper today. You're also going to get a little bit of a deposit bonus too, as well as that free square. I think it's a deposit match up to $100, which burying the lead there, a free potential $100. Go ahead and check it out. Let's jump back into these games. We're moving on to the Orioles and the Dodgers. We've just kind of briefly mentioned the Dodgers. They're not playing Dodger baseball. They just got swept by the Pirates. And, you know, the Pirates did score some runs, 9-3, and I believe it was 4 or 5, but realistically, the Dodgers put up a goose egg in game 2. They only scored 3 runs in game 3. Now, that was against Skeen, so maybe there's some understanding there, right? In this spot, we have Dean Kramer. He's going up against Tyler Glasnow. Now, Dean Kramer is coming off of 2 starts in which he probably wishes he was a shortstop or something, because he did not do his job as a pitcher well. 5 innings pitched, 6 earned, 7 actually came in, 3 home runs against Houston. That was in Baltimore last time he pitched in Baltimore. Then he pitched in San Fran, and worse. Like, how do you do worse than that? He went 3 innings, 7 earned on 9 hits, just 1 strikeout and 2 walks. Let's drop a womp womp for Kramer. Now, Glasnow has been consistent, but his last couple starts, he has allowed 3 earned here. I think that this Dodgers team bounces back to some degree. What I'm a little concerned with is this. Glasnow on the road, he's struggled a little bit here, but the pitch mix I don't necessarily mind. He's going to throw a ton of fastballs, the curve, the sinker. None of these pitches are all that, you know, scary for me. Whereas on the other side of things, the splitter is going to be a major pitch. Okay, they hit the splitter well. The fastball major pitch, they hit the fastball well. So to me, this is a spot in which I'm looking at the Dodgers. But again, like, if Glasnow, and also Glasnow's starts against the Orioles in his career aren't all that great. So maybe the Orioles do put up somewhat of a number. I kind of didn't give them their flowers. They swept the Padres and they scored 4, 6, and 7 runs. Maybe, just maybe, their offense is doing something. Last 6 games, 8, 11, 2, 4, 6, 7. So maybe we do see some runs in this one. But yeah, I think that the Dodgers go out there and get the job done. I'm sounding the psycho alert alarm because we were crushing with the Dodgers early on in the year. You know, we picked their spots for their team, overs and unders in terms of their team total. Now it's almost like I have, oh, this is the Dodgers in my brain, and we've lost in the last like couple weeks, probably lost a few U's on the Dodgers. You know what I mean? So yeah, we're paying minus 155 right now if we lock it in. I do think they win this game with the pitching advantage. I think they have an offensive advantage. Bullpen, yikes, but still Baltimore's bullpen stinks. But man, oh man, the Dodgers are going to be on the DMB graveyard pretty soon if we keep sinking units into them, right? Joe Adele, Zach Gallen, Danby Swanson, move over. We got the Dodgers coming into town if we don't see them come through here today. Probably. I think that they go in the DMB graveyard if they lose today. FYI, the DMB graveyard is like a do not bet list, but we're a little bit more creative than that, so we have a graveyard. I think it's a pretty cool idea. That usually cues a few guppies in the comments being like, oh, well, you shouldn't have a graveyard. Every game's a vacuum, blah, blah, blah. I have fun with the graveyard, all right? And betting has a lot to do with fun as well. All right, Yankees taking on the Blue Jays. To me, this is a very interesting one. I will say maybe this is getting out of hand, I guess, in a sense of the Yankees thinking that they can take over the Blue Jays. I mean, being 5 games, you know, back. I don't know. I guess we'll see. That's the wild card. They're actually 3 games back. So I guess that's a little bit more doable. Yeah, in the wild card, though, the Yankees definitely looking to not drop many games because they're holding that number 1 wild card spot. But to me, I think that, you know, you're getting Gausman here against Cam Schlittler. Now, I've already said plenty on these shows that I think I really like Schlittler, and I like his action on his fastball. He throws it hard. He's got the cutter to kind of match. But to me, I do think that Toronto at this price probably is what I'd look at. Now, do I think that, you know, the Yankees bullpen is all that great or Toronto's bullpen's all that great? Actually, I think those are 2 of Achilles' heels that might get these teams in the playoffs. I think this could be an over 8.5. First and foremost, you do have a Yankees team that offense is obviously looking very, very good. They cashed for us yesterday where they score like 8 runs or something. In their last 3 games, 8, 7, and 7. That was in a big series against the Astros, right? Why wouldn't they kind of bring that same offensive intensity into this one? The only thing I would think is that, okay, well, they were on the road for like 7 straight games. Now they're back at home. Is this somewhat of a flat spot? Maybe, but that's more of like a what if, right? But then the Blue Jays, on the other hand, like, what if Schlittler goes out there and, yeah, the Blue Jays do hit the fastball well, which they do, and we see... So first off, yeah, let me finish that point. Gausman, I don't actually love his matchup. I think the Yankees can actually get some runs off him. But I think the exact same for Toronto against Schlittler, even though both these pitchers are very, very good. I think the offenses are the creme de la creme out of these 2 matchups, and throw in the fact that we have 2 bad bullpens, in my opinion. So that's kind of the easiest way to explain it versus going nitty-gritty into Schlittler and his pitch mix and all that. I think both these offenses are better than pitchers, even though I like both pitchers, but the bullpens really could be the Achilles heel. Simple as that. Look at that. I was probably going to rant for a long time, and we summed up that game pretty damn well. Give me the Yankees, give me the Blue Jays, because you're getting plus money. If these were flipped, I'd be looking at the Yankees for plus money. I think that this could be a shootout, so I like that over 8.5. There are a bunch of 9s out there, but 8.5s exist right now. All right, next one up here, we have the Marlins taking on the Phillies. To be completely honest, I haven't really dug too deep into this one because I don't think that there's much value on either end. You do have Chris Sanchez, who's obviously a really good pitcher. Had that rough start against the Mets, battled back pretty damn well against the Braves. He's going up against Volante Beloza, who we haven't seen start in a while, right? I think the last start he had was like in May. So yeah, the Phillies probably put up a decent number against him. I mean, we have the nickname for Volante Belozo is that Volante blows, Belozio. But, you know, to me, this is all I got for you guys right now. I think that this game has already been super priced out. And right now, yeah, if you do want to look at the Phillies team total, I mean, it isn't all that crazy, minus 135 for the over 4.5. But at the same time, if we're being honest, like, this Phillies team has struggled to get to that 5-run mark for quite some time, and they are still on the road here, which is, they're usually really good at home in good weather. This is on the road in a dome, so maybe we don't even get there with this. I hate to kind of waste the time with this play because it is one of the more unappetizing matchups today, but, you know, we had to cover it a little bit. All right, Braves taking on the Mariners. We got a good pitching matchup here, at least what should be a good pitching matchup here. Chris Sale listed to start here for Atlanta, going up against Logan Gilbert. Logan Gilbert has honestly some spot starts in terms of really good, really bad, but we know he is a good pitcher. At least I'd like to believe and trust that he's a good pitcher. Chris Sale came back and pitched, a couple days ago? A couple weeks ago or something? 6 innings pitched, 1 earned, 9 strikeouts after not pitching for over a month, right? That was against the Phillies in Philadelphia. I think Sale and Gilbert both can pitch fairly well here. You'll see via our pitch mix, you're going to get a ton of sliders out of Gilbert. That's a little worrisome, sure, but the fastball could be okay. The splitter should be pretty damn good. And then you flip it over here, same exact thing. The fastball could be okay. That slider is what worries me a little bit. But both these pitchers are very, very good, and I guess you wouldn't say that they're the typical slider. Now, throw in the fact that Atlanta versus a righty, a little bit worse than, in the last 30 days than lefties. And then Seattle against a lefty, a little bit worse against lefties than righties in the last 30 days. So we love to see that. Do I worry about Logan Gilbert struggling on the road and that type of stuff? Honestly, not even all that much. I think both pitchers, again, have good days. I'll lean towards the the Mariners, just because of the plus money. I think this is kind of like a coin flippy game. Either one of these pitchers could go out there and shove. I think it's going to be a low scoring one, so I don't think I get to the Mariners, I'll tell you that right now, but for plus 125, that's what I'd look at. In terms of the totals, I think that I like both these now. Would I take them at the same, like if we were to take both first 3 and first 5 under, we're probably paying a lot of juice, but I just want to show respect to these pitchers. I think we have good games on our hands, and we'd probably split, if we're doing like half unit plays today type of thing, maybe we do a quarter on each of these, just a little diversify our portfolio, but we're probably looking at like minus 140s in the ballpark there for this, so we will see, but I do like the first 5 and first 3 unders there. Realistically, there's only one bat that even worries me about big play potential today. It's Julio Rodriguez. He hits the fastball and the slider really well right now. He's batting against lefties really well, so sure, that could kind of throw a wrench into things, but everyone else, I think that in terms of a one-to-one matchup, both these pitchers have somewhat of the upper hand. Rays taking on the Guards. I absolutely hate this spot. I really do. Right now we have Ian Seymour listed as the starter or the primary pitcher going up against Gavin Williams. And the reason I hate it is I do still lean towards the Rays. They're playing good baseball. They are, which is surprising, and the Guardians are not. But I hate it because are we really looking at like minus 140 odds with Tampa Bay? Yuck. You know what I mean? Maybe taking a peek at their team total over could be something that we get behind, but Gavin Williams is on the other side of things, and I don't think Gavin Williams is all that terrible, but he doesn't have the best numbers for sure against this Tampa Bay team. So yeah, over 3.5 right now. They've done it in 7 straight games. That Tampa Bay team total over, I think over 3.5 for minus 135 could be something that we consider. As gross as it is, as much as I don't necessarily love it, again, could be something that we consider. We have a plus 13% run index here in terms of runs potentially being scored, but wind blowing in and rain, so it must be humid as all hell. And again, sometimes if that ball fights the humidity, it can stay in the air. I guess I'm no science guy, right? I'm weatherman Ev reporting for duty sometimes, but I guess when it's really, really humid, the ball can obviously have a harder time coming down. I would think it has a harder time fighting to go up, but hey, again, I'm not making the rules out here. Give me the Rays and their team total over. What we really need from that game is sports scientist Jacob in the comments to let us know how that humidity and with wind blowing and how could we possibly have, and with humidity and precipitation, how could we possibly have a positive run index? I know the ballpark plays small. That might be a big factor as well. Anyways, that's probably the biggest factor. Let's move on to Kansas City taking on Minnesota. Looks like we got Pablo Lopez, a guy that I do like backing. He is now on the bump for Minnesota. It's kind of funny. Like, we talked about selling everyone at the deadline and all that, and you forgot, oh yeah, we got a stud pitcher, Pablo Lopez. Like, Pablo Lopez, Joe Ryan, not exactly the worst. Now, I know a lot of people don't like Pablo Lopez. He seems to be like out of 1/2 in terms of where you are in the rotation type pitchers. A lot of people have multiple mixed opinions about him. I do like Pablo. I don't think he's in the best situation here. I think this Kansas City team has been pretty trustworthy. I cringe when I say that because the offense has been up and down, but has been fairly trustworthy against righties. Again, maybe that's going a little bit too far because they just can't seem to bring guys home. They'll get their hits and they'll put guys on. They'll hit for average, but realistically, again, they are struggling every now and then, right at the drop of a hat. I don't think they struggled today. They're going to see a lot of fastballs. They hit the fastball okay. Slider, changeup. Nothing is all that worrisome from that point of view. Now, Pablo Lopez also coming back. I don't think that he's going to be as sharp or have the length that we might think. He was on the 60-day DL. Throw in the fact that Michael Wacha's on the other side of things. Now, Michael Wacha really hasn't been pitching all that great, but he's been consistent. He's given you 5 innings of like 2-run baseball against a Twins team that I don't think is all that great offensively. He might be okay here. In terms of his, history against this roster, the Twins rosters, their actual lineup, 54 plate appearances against a 26% K rate, 11% walk rate, but an average against of 125. So 125 average against is no slouch, right? Give me the Royals and their team total over. I don't mind the idea of the Royals. I feel like the Royals are a team right now that the first time we take them to the series, they lose. We bet on them on the bounce back and they win. And it's like, oh, we're just like bleeding juice with this Royals team. You know what I mean? Throw in the fact that it looks like it's going to be like 57 degrees in Kansas City. Maybe them scoring, 4 runs is asking a lot. So maybe it is just to take a peek at that Royals. I think right now you can get them actually. That says minus 137. I believe I saw a better number just 2 seconds ago. Right now, Royals, minus 125. Definitely a better number. I know I already talked about how to get access to the dashboard, but let me take 2 seconds to kind of go through it a little bit more in depth. This is our MLB dashboard. GuyBostonSports.com. Head right over here to the members area. You could sign up, get the MLB dashboard, the NFL dashboard, which I'll show you in a second, or just get the all sports membership, meaning you get for, a decent amount of dollars off, you get both of those every single day. Now, what we have here is pitching data, team trend data kind of towards the top. We have weather data, ballpark factor data there. We have Minnesota, Kansas City. Every single game, though, we have starting pitcher for both sides. You could see their recent stats, or actually their season stats on the season, where they are on the road or at home, against lefties, against righties. We also have their pitch mix data mixed in here, as well as some batting data, batting against certain pitches, and then the projected lineups as well as how they hit certain pitches. And we also have pitch mix ratings for both the pitcher and the batter, showing how they should match up based on our algorithm against one another. We have bullpen data that has been probably my favorite add to the dashboard this season down below. Now, guys, we also have an NFL dashboard right now, which this is obviously using last year's data. And you can see this is an advertisement that's getting blocked. Let's get that out of here. You can see we have quarterback data atop. We have offense and defensive data. We also have defensive coverage data, as well as something that's really cool. We have the matchup sort of analyzer. I don't know what we call this section yet, but using DVOA adjusted defense versus position and fantasy points against position, we have very easy, fairly tough, very tough, as 6 different categories for a matchup, helping you kind of decide your offensive player props to look at there. We also have DVOA data down the bottom. So a ton of cool stuff here in both the MLB and NFL dashboard. Head over to sign up if you're not a member today, and you can see here, you got 3 different options. You can get just the NFL, just the MLB, or you can go all sports dashboard. GuyBostonSports.com. Head to the members area, guys. Go check it out. These are 2 tools that are just only getting better, and they're already pretty damn sweet. Texas taking on the Astros. Now, I went back and forth in this one for a while, and I do have a side and a total here prediction, but I still kind of feel a little weary about it, so take it with a grain of salt. But on the mound for the Rangers, we have Merrill Kelly going up against Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown's obviously a very good pitcher. He's looked good over his last couple starts. Merrill Kelly in the same boat. He's very consistent. Yeah, he's coming off a 6 1/3, 3 earned game against the Athletics, but they still won that game. And this Texas team, prior to their last couple games, had been going absolutely off. So in their 6 games prior to their last 2, so take out the 2 games against Arizona, they scored 0 and 3 runs. They had scored 7, 9, 9, 5, 20, and 7 runs straight. Houston, on the other hand, has been super sporadic. Their last 6 games here, 1, 0, 8, 1, 8, 4. Like, they've been all over the place. I do think Hunter Brown's still better than Kelly. I think that we have 2 decent bullpens on our hands here. Texas might be the hungrier dog because they're only, a game and a half out of the wild card right now. But to me, it's going to be Astros. I think they are the better team. And after getting, beat by the Yankees in that series, losing it 2-1, I just feel like they come out a little bit more, I guess, hungry in a sense than the hungrier dog, with Hunter Brown in the mound as well. I think helps. I don't mind the idea of an under or a first 5 under, though. Again, I've gone back and forth on this game. If this was, plus 130, I think that's the number I'd be looking for to potentially take a peek at the Ranger side of things. But we're right at like that mid plus 125s, and that's a big 5 cents to me, obviously, as of right now. So if you're on the Rangers, don't let me talk you off of it. I just think that this one could be a low-scoring, close game in which the Astros make things happen when they need to. And I think the Texas' offense may be moving in the wrong direction. They had their little spurt and burst, right? And now they're kind of back to what we had them pegged at for the majority of the season. Cardinals taking on the Giants. Let's keep in mind that the Giants are 9-1 in their last 10, by the way. They're playing good baseball, but they are coming back from a series in Colorado. They did put up some numbers, 8, 7, and 10 runs scored. But you know what? We now are looking at a Cardinals team that has won 2 straight series against the Reds and the Athletics. maybe this team's playing all right. On the mound, we have Michael McGreevy. Do I love him? No, I wouldn't say that, but he's coming off of a good start. He's one of those, wins against Cincinnati. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned, no strikeouts, and 2 walks. But still, they get the win. Going up against Carson Seymour, who 3 innings pitched against Baltimore, 4 earned, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, 2 home runs in his last, or I guess, was that his first outing? But nonetheless, where I'd go in this one is still an under. I don't think that this is a spot in which the Giants are going to have much offensive success, not because of McGreevy, but because they're coming back from Coors, and then kind of the Cardinals being at home in a little bit better of a situation, also playing decent baseball. That's kind of why I lean towards them on the money line. So yeah, under 8, I think that we could see. Also, both these bullpens are decent enough, right? You have 2 rested bullpens, first and foremost, and I guess, the number 2 ranked bullpen in the Giants, both ERA and WHIP. Now we're talking season long, obviously trades and stuff impact that, but then St. Louis, number 6 in terms of ERA rank. Maybe we have these starters go do their job and then the bullpens kind of shut it down. Looks like we may have some rain, just like 25% chance here of rain in St. Louis as well. So that probably ends up helping an under as well. So I'm going to lean towards the Cardinals, but also an under. Neither one of these offenses is all that scary to me. I will say that San Fran definitely hits righties better than they do lefties. But again, I'm putting a lot of stock into the fact that they're just coming home from Colorado. Now, could you also be like, but Ev, they had the day off. Yes, they might be acclimated, but still kind of putting that theory to the test in a sense. So give me that under. They can get under 8.5 right now. All right, Rockies taking on the Pods here. Both these teams just got swept, right? We talked about it. Baltimore sweeping the Pods and Colorado getting swept by the team we just talked about, the Giants. I do think that this is a Padres team that probably comes out with a little bit of vengeance. And honestly, we talk about them being swept. They've lost like 1,000,000 of their last 1,000,001 games. They're not playing good baseball. Even if we look at the standings on their side of things, in terms of the NL, right? They were very, like, let's put it like this. If the Dodgers hadn't been sucking as well, this Padres team would be absolutely kicking themselves for how they're playing. They're still just 2 back on the Dodgers. I think they're only, I think they are pretty far back on the Cubs. The Cubs may have that wild card top spot locked up, but again, the Padres probably at this point are thinking maybe we go and chase the actual West division. Anyways, going up against Colorado is probably a decent spot for that. Now, I do think that they are heavily juiced, which kind of rightfully so. You have Nick Pivetta going up against Kyle Freeland. So I'm going to lean Padres maybe as some sort of a parlay piece. But I also don't mind the first 3 under 3.5. I've been taking this, or actually we only did it once, right? That was when Logan Webb pitched. I think it was Logan Webb and Kyle Freeland pitched just a little while ago, and I kind of like the spot. You have Nick Pivetta, who's another pitcher that, should be okay here. Now, he doesn't necessarily keep the ball on the ground all that much, but I do really like the idea of his fastball against this team in Colorado and being able to hold it down in Coors. So I think that he should be okay. And then Kyle Freeland, though he's obviously had his struggles, this is a Padres team that definitely has some struggles against the left hand. So hopefully Freeland can kind of hold it down. And honestly, using our dashboard, we have the fastball and cutter, 2 pitches that I'm looking forward to seeing him throw. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a San Diego team hitting either one of those. And you can see they do struggle against the left hand. So yeah, the first 3 under 3.5 could be a play right now. We cashed it last time out, and funny enough, it was Kyle Freeland. And now against Logan Webb, as long as we have another good pitcher on the other side of things, I kind of like it. Now, could I be crazy and San Diego has the talent? And like I said, they're pissed off based on how they've been playing. They go out there and put up 5 in the first inning. It could happen. So you know what? I'll sound the psycho alert alarm. It's a weird one to look at, but I do kind of trust Kyle Freeland to the thinnest degree. So Padres, some sort of parlay piece, and then the under 3.5 in that first 3. All right, Angels taking on the A's. You have the Athletics coming off of a series in which they lost to the Cardinals, and their offense just dried up. They were looking good, and then 2 games in a row, they scored 1 run. The Athletics did. Now, the Angels are coming off of a winning series against Kansas City. We were on the losing end of one of those games and on the winning end of one of those games. They also split a series against Houston, which I think is a decent look for them. Right now, we have Jose Soriano on the bump. I do like Soriano. I've said that multiple times. 3 of his last 4 starts, he's gone with 0 earned with like 6+ strikeouts. So good for him. That being said, he did pitch earlier, or he's pitched a few times this year against this Athletic squad. And last time out, which was the most recent, August 17th, it was in Sacramento there. But 5 2/3, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 home runs let up. And I do think that could be largely in part due to the fact that he throws a ton of sinkers And this is a team that actually rakes the sinker, rakes the knuckle curve as well. So both of the pitches that he's going to throw, these are all very minute pitches. I do think that we could see the Athletics hit. So I'm going to lean towards the Athletics and their team total over, but this will be a very much wait and see type of a play. Like, we might actually just watch this game and see with our own two eyes, and sometimes that's what you got to look at. Is this Athletics offense done? Or did they kind of just go through a rough spell there against the Cardinals? Because this was a pretty serviceable offense for weeks, before that. When they'd have those 1 or 2 run games, that was more of an anomaly than some of the games that we were seeing with like 5 runs and 6 and 7, you know what I mean? So I do think that this will be a spot in which, okay, is Soriano on? That's something to watch for. And is this Athletics team still viable offensively? So I do lean the Athletics. Again, you're getting good plus money. I think it's like for them to win right now. What is the odds here on the money line? Plus 141. Yeah, I think that could be a decent spot. And then their team total over right now. I mean, this total is up there at 9. Their team total over is actually, you can get 3.5 for minus 150 or plus 115, 4.5. Both of those I would consider, even though I am what I'd consider a fairly big Soriano guy because he keeps the ball on the ground so well. All right, last game on the board for us today. We got the Diamondbacks taking on my Boston Red Sox. Peyton Toley's on the mound here for the Red Sox. Looked pretty good in his debut. Looked pretty overpowering to some degree as well. He's going up against Eduardo Rodriguez, who I feel like it's just a magic 8 ball. Is Rodriguez going to pitch okay today? Possibly. In terms of his last few starts here, he has looked bad and good. And when I say good, actually, I should say really bad or really good. Even like his last start against the Dodgers. Again, a lot of guys have good starts against the Dodgers recently, though. 6 innings pitched, 0 earned on 4 hits. Going up against this Red Sox offense, so I do believe in. Yes, they're coming off a really, really bad game against Cleveland in that 3rd game, but still 11-6, 5-3 before that. Arizona's offense is also viable. I think that I lean Red Sox. Ultimately, I think you're getting, a pretty tough number for them, though. Totally could have like a second start regression type spot, but nonetheless, I lean Red Sox. But I like the over 8.5. I mean, I could see runs coming in here, and if we get to the bullpen of Arizona, anything's possible as well, right? So sure, totally could go out there and shove. Maybe, just maybe, he's gonna throw a lot of fastballs. Arizona hits the fastball well. They hit lefties well. So I don't know if it's the best spot for him. Plus 7% run index is where this field's playing today. But you have 2 pitchers that are going to throw a lot of fastballs, and both these teams hit the fastball fairly well. So over 8.5 is probably something I'd consider. It's not a direct fade of Toley, but would it be the first time we've seen a pitcher look really good in his first start and then kind of come out there and look a little rough against another team? That would not be the first time, no. But guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you'd go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Like I'd already mentioned, we do have our NFL video for tonight's game now live. Make sure to go ahead and, like I said, check out Sleeper. All that information down in the description of this video. Really appreciate you spending some time with me. Catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.